Tonight on Left Hook, Right Jab, we are talking about Measure 101 here in Oregon. The special election for the measure is less than 2 weeks away, and this is what it's all about. The vote is about a tax on certain health care services to pay for part of the state's Medicaid program. A yes vote would keep that tax in place, which was first enacted by the legislature last year. A no vote would repeal the tax passed by lawmakers. Here to debate the measure, we welcome back KXL's Lars Larson and Steve Novick. Gentlemen, good to have you back with us. Here is your question. How should Oregonians vote on Measure 101? And Lars, you're up first.
Laurel, thank goodness for Representative Julie Parrish getting this thing on the ballot so Oregonians actually get a choice on a $1/3 of $1 billion tax. And here's why. Understand that Obamacare dramatically expanded Medicaid. What that meant was the federal government paid the bill for about the first 5 years. Now, 5% of the cost falls on Oregon. That blew a $1 billion hole in the state budget, and they need to fill this hole. Here's the problem, though. This tax does not fall equally. It exempts big corporations that self-insure. It exempts the unions because they are the friends of Democrats like Kate Brown and company. So it doesn't fall on everybody. If you truly believe that this is a state responsibility to fill this gap, then put the tax on all Oregonians. Instead, this is selective, and it's going to hurt people. Raising taxes on health care to make health care more affordable, Steve, that just doesn't make sense.
Lars, if this fails, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of Oregonians lose health insurance. And the state loses hundreds of millions of dollars of federal money. Because the way Medicaid works is the state puts up some money and the feds match it on average at a rate of 3-to-1. That's money that comes into our economy, creating jobs that we lose if this fails. The reason the measure doesn't tax a big private self-insured companies' health insurance plans is federal law prohibits them from doing that. So they couldn't do that. It's also really important to know that the state spends its discretionary money on three things: education, healthcare, and prisons. So if this fails, either you knock hundreds of thousands of people off the Oregon Health Plan, or you let people out of prison, or you cut schools. Those are the choices.
Now, Steve, I'm glad you went that direction with the argument because it's simply untrue. First of all, they're asking for over $300 million, and yet the legislature admits that they overestimated Medicaid signups by $100 million. So knock $100 million off, then go down to the couple of $100 million that the state has misspent by accidentally funding various clinics and hospitals and that sort of thing. The money is already in the state legislature to pay this bill without adding this crazy tax. It doesn't make any sense to go this direction, Steve.
Yes, Lars. Or the Oregon Health Authority made some mistakes with money under its previous Republican director, but she has been fired. And she's not going to be any more fired if we reject this measure and hundreds of thousands of people lose their health insurance. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
The money is there in the legislature. The legislature should do its job. And less than 2 weeks from now, Oregonians should vote no on ballot measure 101.
The money is not lying randomly around. Legislatures don't raise taxes when they've got money lying around because raising taxes doesn't tend to be popular. The legislature, including the leadership of the Republicans in the Senate, did this because they thought that was the only thing that they could do in order to maintain health insurance for a lot of people. I should let viewers know that if you want more information about this measure, go to the Oregon Center for Public Policy website, ocpp.org.
And you're out of time, Lars, so
That's
Steve
right.
gets the final word. Thank you, gentlemen. No matter how you vote, be sure to vote. Your ballots are due back at 8 o'clock Tuesday, January 23rd. Tracy and Joe.
Thanks, Laurel.